Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I'm Ingram Jones, bunged up with a cold or the flu or whatever you want to call it. But we're here and we're live. We're about to talk about the latest boxing news, major announcement that's come out. Tyson Fury will be facing Vladimir Klitschko. And I also want to touch on some other boxing points as well. Before I do that, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I'm Ingram Jones. Right, good. Just double checking, see that's live. We're live, just making sure we're live. Good. So we're live and it's all good now. So we'll start again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I'm Ingram Jones and this is BWTMONLINE TV boxing channel. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, and leave your comments. Share the videos, share the love, and tell everybody what's going on. So there's a lot to talk about. First and foremost, before I talk about Vladimir Klitschko and Tyson Fury, I want to take you back to yesterday and a Mr. Carl Froch. Oh, we've got to call him Carl Froch MBE now. Yesterday, Mr. Froch put a tweet up which said, "Too big, too strong." And that, to me, signaled that either Froch wanted the fight or Froch was on another wind-up. I wasn't having it. So I immediately contacted GGG's or Gennady Golovkin's trainer, Abel Sanchez. And I asked Abel, what do you think about the fact that Froch has said he's too big and he's too strong? Abel said, well, if he believes that he's too big and he's too strong, and take the fight and get Gennady out of the way, then there doesn't need to be any more talking. Dan Rafael, the American correspondent and boxing journalist, also said to Froch, if you think you're so big and so strong, why not fight Gennady? And if you look at the Twitter feed, it got slightly personal between Froch and what's his name? I forgot the guy's name, Dan Rafael. But anyway, I think promoters of Gennady Golovkin also chirped in as well and said, hey, I think it's Tom Loffer. I can't pronounce his name. I apologize if I got his name wrong. But he jumped in as well and said, look, if you want the fight, it's here. Let's make it happen. So my whole thing about this whole Froch Gennady Golovkin thing is this: if you're gonna fight, Carl, fight, and stop telling people about how you think you're too big and too strong, because at the moment you're doing everything to pull your legacy down, because you either put a tweet like that up with the intention to fight, or you're putting a tweet up that to make a mockery of yourself, because you know people respect you all around the world for being a warrior, and people respect you all around the world for being the great fighter that you are. But when you make silly tweets like that, and then when Abel Sanchez and team Golovkin try to make contact with you to make the fight in Wembley, Abel Sanchez then tells me that when he tries to make, when the promotional team and the management team of Gennady tried to make contact with Eddie Hearn turns around and says he can't make contact with Carl Froch. So make what you want of that. I am not going to have my chain tugged by the likes of Carl Froch and the buffoonery that's going on. If he's going to fight, he's going to fight. But for me, if I were Carl Froch, I would retire, and retire gracefully and quietly, or face Gennady Golovkin at 38 years old, not having fought for over a year now, and then forcing yourself to get into a fight. And at the end of the day, as far as I'm concerned, you're facing a guy that's strong, young, hungry, and arguably better than George Groves, who put you on your ass. So Do you really want to fight like that? Okay, if you win, what do you get for winning? You beat a guy that was not a super middleweight. You fought a guy that hadn't proven himself, or you get smashed to bits by a guy that's a middleweight, that's come up to super middleweight and knocks you out. How do you want you to be remembered, Carl Froch? Do the graceful thing, retire, and stop talking about Gennady Golovkin, because it doesn't end well as far as I'm concerned. There are a lot of fans out there that want to see him fight Golovkin, but a lot of fans are selective in their remembrance of Carl Froch and the vulnerabilities that Carl Froch showed, not in the first George Groves fight, but also the second fight as well. You can't keep taking shots to your chin, which is always unprotected. You can't keep getting into hard fights over and over and over again. And like I said, let your Wembley memories be the memories that people remember you by, not being knocked out of Wembley by a middleweight who was supposedly too small for you and not strong enough. Those are my thoughts on the whole Carl Froch thing. There are people in the room, so let me see who's in the room and acknowledge them. Chris Goulding, good evening. Really clever move by Vlad's team. They hold all the aces, but never mind about that. It feels real now. Chris Goulding also says, as always, Baylor excels when it comes to build up to heavyweight title fights. Yes, and I don't think that Fury versus Klitschko is going to be any exception to the rule. I'll be doing the best that I can to get you those little bits of gem interviews that most people don't seem to get. No disrespect to anybody else. Ruben Caddick is in the room. Ruben is a long-time Fury fan. Fury, 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 Fury. Ruben Caddick says, come on, son. Tyson effing Fury. Yes. Zeta Creations. Vlad equals Illuminati puppet. Good evening, Zeta Creations. Ryan Brock. Froch won't be able to handle GGG's power. That's what I think. Good evening, Ryan. Zeta Creations, Carl don't want to fight GGG. Too dangerous. 4C Sports Media says, hi everyone. Zeta Creations says, Hearn, Brook, need to stop messing around with Rios. Michael Redding in the room. Redmond, in fact. Good evening, Michael. Michael Redmond says, he's getting it. Ryan Brock says, I don't think even Froch is that big a cunt to post that and not back it up. Well, Ryan, according to Abel Sanchez, negotiations with Carl Froch and Matchroom fell through because Eddie Hearn was contacted and, according to Abel Sanchez, could not make contact with Carl Froch, and Carl Froch went missing. Carl Froch has now posted on the Twitter page and said he's too big and too strong. Like I said, think what you want of it. It's either Carl Froch is going to come back and fight at Wembley and get destroyed at Wembley, or he's going to retire. I don't see Carl Froch beating Gennady Golovkin, to be honest. You know, there's only so much wear and tear your body can take. But having said that, stranger things have happened. So those are my thoughts so far on that. I will go on to Tyson Fury and talk about that. Froch is a so-and-so, but it's all hyping the fight. Yeah, indeed it is. Indeed it is. I don't know. I'm not hyped for the fight because I don't actually think the fight's going to happen. I really don't. I actually don't think the fight's going to happen. I think there's a lot of talk from Froch. I don't think it's going to happen. I think he said that Froch replied after I tweeted the interview to him from Abel Sanchez. He says that he's more likely to fight R2D2 for the science fiction titles than fight Gennady Golovkin. That was Froch's response after the tweet earlier. So again, I'm not making this up. Decide what you want. The one thing I do have with some boxing fans, and boxing fans, I think new age boxing fans, those who haven't got a clue about the history that's gone on before they started watching boxing. And one gentleman said he was fed up versus fed up listening to Abel Sanchez talk. Abel Sanchez has been in the boxing game a long time, and for those people who don't know who Abel Sanchez is, just go and take a look at Terry Norris. Terrible Terry Norris. So he knows how to train a fighter or so, and he had Kovalev in his corner as well. Trained Kovalev as well, and many other fighters as well. So 40 Sports Me says, I'm worried about booking flights, etc. for Fury fight. Main worry is that Vladimir will probably postpone the fight for a couple of weeks, months. What do you think? Okay, let's get into it, because that's what you really want to hear about, not Froch and Gennady Golovkin, but let's talk about Klitschko versus Tyson Fury. You know what I think about the fight already, but I would caution a lot of boxing fans out there. Vladimir Klitschko is after David Haye, the master of pullouts. Vladimir Klitschko pulled out twice. Let's remember, twice against Derek Chisora. One time stating he had supposedly he was injured, but then the next day, I think it was a rib injury, and then the next day he was caught playing golf. It was a charity game. So Vladimir Klitschko is good at doing this. He's also done it to Kubrat Pulev as well, who was his mandatory, if everybody remembers that. So now that it's in Germany, expect all the antics to happen now that that fight is in Germany. Believe you me, having been part of or had insight into when Vladimir Klitschko fought Bryant Jennings, having spoken to at James Ellis time and on countless occasions, this is not just about a boxing bout. If you've been watching Klitschko fights and you understand how Klitschko fights work, it's not about just getting in the ring and fighting Vladimir Klitschko. There's a lot of things that Team Fury needs to be prepared for and be ready for. This is like nothing, and I repeat, nothing that Tyson Fury and Team Fury have faced before. There is no fight coming up to this fight now that they could look back and say, well, we've done this, and this to prepare for Klitschko. They haven't. There isn't. So really, Tyson needs to be in the best physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional place that he has been in all his career for that fight on October the 24th, should it happen in Germany. Because let me tell you something firsthand, there will be countless games being played before the fight. Vladimir Klitschko and his team are excellent at doing various things, from the dressing room to negotiations to where Tyson's going to be staying, where's him and his camp going to be staying in terms of preparation lead to the fight. I mean, what hotel are going to be at, and once Vladimir Klitschko knows this, the sort of antics that have been done beforehand and making things very difficult for them before they even get to the ring. My concern isn't about the fight. My concern is the build up, the lead up to this fight. It's okay being at a press conference and calling people shit houses. That's fine. That's great. And that's what everyone's entertained and excited about. My concern is the lead up to the fight. And before Tyson Fury steps inside those ropes or over those ropes come October the 24th, if that actually is the date of the fight. It's very interesting because when I interviewed James Ellis, he said that the fight would be signed and done by October. Now, did Bashir know that by October, that Klitschko had in his mind October was the time, not September? Originally, from what I was told, September the 20th at Wembley was the deal. Now, according to Tyson Fury in his Twitter, he said there was a deal already agreed, but Klitschko cancelled on that deal. So, the games have begun. Will Klitschko gamble and say, October 24th, I'll lead you up to the last few days, get you waste all the time in training camp, and then pull out at the last moment, state an injury, mess with Tyson Fury's mind yet again? He's had to pull out with Chisora. That was a genuine injury. He's had 2 pullouts from David Haye, let's remember. Tyson's known to blow up in between fights. Will that play a role in this fight? I'll leave it there just for a minute and see what you guys have got to say. Ryan Brock says, Froch's legacy would be avoiding GGG, not knocking George Groves out in 80,000. Carl will fight this man, according to Ryan Brock. Michael Redman, I said this to Peter earlier, mate, the postponement thing. Agreed. Chris Golding says, Vlad does have form for that last-minute injury. Lastminute.com should be on the back of Vladimir Klitschko's shorts. Michael Redman, Vlad has been decked 12 times odd. Does Fury have the bigger heart, going down and getting up to win? I would say yes. Question is, Michael, who has Tyson Fury fought that hits as hard as Vladimir Klitschko? Who has had the reach to hit Fury as hard as Vladimir Klitschko will hit him come the 24th? I asked Tyson that question, and Tyson said to me, a punch is a punch. So far, a punch has been a punch. And some punches have put him down, and he's got up. Against Vladimir Klitschko, he may discover a punch from Klitschko is a whole different ballgame to a punch from everybody else he's faced in his career. But then again, he'll be throwing punches back as well. So that makes it interesting. Minimum Fury gets is 3.5 million. Okay, good. Looking forward to Vitali being in the Fury dressing room before the fight. The build up is going to be very interesting. Indeed, it is, 4C Sports Media. It is going to be crucial that Team Fury are not only professional, but they're aware. You can be professional and get your guy into great shape without the nonsense, but it's the mind games. Are they ready for the mind games? Are they really prepared for the mind games? You know, because Klitschko is a smart man. I'm not saying Team Fury are not smart. I'm just saying be prepared. I'm not sure. Would it be a 75-25% split? He'll be on, say, 2 million, says Chris Golden. Ryan Brock says he heard 70-30. Chris Golden says, I'm keen on the training camps. France, Belgium would be good for Tyson. A familiar environment. Huey and maybe Eddie Chambers, perhaps. Yusunov too. I don't know. I'd like to see Tyson Fury in Ireland, clearly, because I'm in Ireland as well. It'd be nice for the Camp Fury to come out to Ireland and not to be in France. But what, you know, they know what's best for them. But I'd love to see him in Ireland. I don't believe anything Vlad says. The Klitschkos are fake like David Haye. Well, I do believe what Vlad says, to the point where he said that Tyson Fury's more famous for the things that he says and rather than what he's done in his career, and he hasn't quite evaluated Tyson to this date. He has seen Tyson in training, you know, because he was once in camp with Tyson. They never sparred, I believe, and he sussed him up from there. But I guess he'll look at him closer nearer the fight time, I guess. You think Golovkin making move up weight without the tune-up? Oh, James Canales says, what do I think of it? I think it is not in interest really of Sanchez and his trainer, because I think they want to clean up the middleweight division. Abel Sanchez said to me, he doesn't care much for Cotto. He just wants they want to become undisputed champion. I think my suspicion is that Froch is a super fight, and that will just make Gennady a superstar. It's just the name they want of Froch, but moving up is just part of the deal. But that's how it is. Just Froch's name. That's all they want. His name. Someone needs to watch Vlad's hand wraps. Yes, the hand wraps are very interesting. A trainer, I won't reveal his name, said to me that Vlad wraps his hands illegally. Now, Vladimir Klitschko fans would not like to hear me say that, but there's a lot of things that need to be looked at. Drug testing, are they going to pull that up at the fight, before the fight? Are they going to talk about drug testing? Remember, Pulev did the same thing, and Vladimir refused to do the drug testing, and he's in Germany. Interesting. They will be playing by Vladimir's rules, not by their rules. They may be able to negotiate a table for 70-30% split, but will they be able to negotiate the other stuff, the finer points of details, when they're in Germany? That is the question. Furies are cunning and a lot brighter than Vlad thinks. The fact Vlad might underestimate the intelligence of Team Fury outside the ring could be crucial in this fight. It could be crucial. Being smart is one thing. Being aware is another. Getting it right on the night is another. Those are three different things. And all three things contribute to success come October 24th. Ruben Caddick says, do you see it as a 50-50 fight or something else? No, I don't. I think it would have been interesting, better fight in England than it is in Germany. Because in England, you could say, Tyson could say, look, I'm going to try and win this fight on points. Now, he has to change his game plan and look to knock Klitschko out, which presents a different set of problems altogether. Because I don't believe, Tyson's a smart man. He knows that if the fight gets close in Germany, he's not winning the fight in Germany. He has to knock Klitschko out, which means you're going to have to see him take risks, take chances, and by taking risks and takes chances, the percentage changes in the fight. Take that into consideration. Vlad's fighting lower quality opposition could swing things Tyson's way. Another element that is crucial is a strong referee who will stop any excess holding. At least it won't be star referee like Ian John Lewis. Well, we know that it's in Germany, so Vladimir Klitschko will have, or his camp will probably have, a referee that will suit the Klitschko holding. But will he be able to hold Tyson Fury? We know that Tyson Fury is a good inside fighter. He's got good inside fightingness. Remember that. Stuart Howe, good evening, my good friend Stuart Howe, the NLP practitioner. Stuart Howe knows how to get you right mentally. If you need to get yourself mentally fit, talk to Stuart Howe. He doesn't just do boxing. Check out Stuart Howe, a good man and a good friend. Good evening, Stuart. Justin Bilal, what's up, Ingram? Nice haircut, my man. Oh, well, do you want to hear the story about the haircut? I did it myself. Yeah, it's getting to that kind of stage of my life where I'm doing my haircut myself. Yeah, and I used to remember I used to pay 10 to 12 pounds a time to get my haircut. If I have to attend a special occasion, I'll just go to Dublin and get my man to do it up. But to travel to Dublin to get a haircut 3 hours away, it's a bit much. But for now, we'll do. Thank you. James Canal says Klitschko will be fighting a guy taller than him. Do you think Tyson Fury troubles Vladimir? Well, look at the Marius Vac fight. Look at the Tony Thompson fight. Like I said, is Tyson Fury going to be fighting in his comfort zone, doing what he wants to do, or is he going to do? He's going to have to fight a fight now that he may not have wanted to have, which is fighting at Wembley would have suited him more, I think. But who knows? Fury might want to have a tear-up with Vladimir Klitschko, but is having a tear-up with Vladimir Klitschko? You know, Tyson's not fought anybody on the level of Vladimir Klitschko. Nobody, close, remotely. So we want to hope and we pray that Tyson has got that extra gear. He certainly has got an extra gear in any of his interviews he's had with me. He's shown that he can be at one level and then take it up a notch. He'll need to take it up 3 or 5 notches against Vladimir Klitschko. You know, just being big isn't enough. And I don't, when people say size, forget the size debate. Size is not going to win Tyson Fury the heavyweight championship of the world. Get it out of your head. Skill, heart, ability, intelligence. That's what wins a world heavyweight title fight, not being big. Get it out of your head. Size means nothing. It is having the ability to win the fight. Now, has he got the skills to win the fight? That's the question. He can box southpaw. He can box orthodox. He can fight inside. Let's hear those sort of conversations. I'm not engaging in conversations to do with size. So I think it's an insult of a fighter when you say, oh, he's big, he wins a fight. Well, in that case, why not say Valuev can beat Vladimir Klitschko? He's big, he's tall. Hey, he's tall, huh? Why don't say Dong, the 7-foot Chinese guy, heavyweight? Why do you say he beats Vladimir Klitschko? They're big guys. Why don't you say those guys beat Vladimir? Come on, let's not talk about size. Let's talk about skill. Let's break it down. Skill and ability. Has he got the skill? Has he got the ability? Is the southpaw jab going to be a problem? Can Tyson Fury fight southpaw against Vladimir Klitschko and pull it off? We know that Corey Sanders pulled it off. We know that Tony Thompson gave Vladimir Klitschko problems, but ultimately Klitschko still was champion. So that's something we need to talk about. Stuart Howe says, Fury needs KO, won't win on points in Germany. Chris Golden says, a referee who likes to watch and then forgets he's referee. Yeah. Yes, indeed. Zeta Creation says, Vlad needs to be PD tested properly. Zeta, man, or, you know, talk, because you're saying a lot of things there that are very interesting. I'd love to know where you're getting your insight from. You care to share where you're getting insight from? Because I'm very interested. You're saying a lot of things that other trainers have said to me before. Tyson, Michael Redmond says, Tyson did say he would have to win by KO. He said rather lose by KO than by points. Pussy way to lose, he said. Vlad can't hold Fury. Now, if Vlad does hold Fury, that will tell you something. Oh, this is going berserk in here. Stuart House says, I'm a master practitioner. Thank you for the shout out. Yeah, Stuart is a master practitioner, by the way. So if you've got if you want to achieve your goals and you don't feel mentally, you need to mentally sharpen up, go to Stuart Howe. He's a great man to talk to. Justin Bilal says, if Vlad is looking to counter Fury, then it could cause Vlad to lower his punch output. Fury is known to be active in the ring and can outwork jab. Vlad has to work hard in this fight, in my opinion. Yeah, that's a valid point there, Justin. Justin says, I cut mine here too, LOL. Yeah. 4C Sports Media. Hay won a unanimous decision in Germany. Yeah, but think about it. Hay was, when we talk about personality, who can make more money, Valuev has no personality and couldn't fight. So that's why Hay got that decision. And with Holyfield, you also remember 4C Sports Media, Holyfield put a beating on Valuev. But they didn't want to go with Holyfield. Politically, they didn't want Holyfield to have that title. But you know, Holyfield put a better beating on Valuev than David Hay ever did. So let's remember that too. And Holyfield didn't get the decision. Ruben Caddick, Fury could win on points if he gets a few knockdowns. He's got to get the knockdowns. But while going to get the knockdown, he could get knocked down himself. Think about this. Michael Redman, they could not give Hay a united decision for that. Okay, with some beastly inside fighting, give. Justin Bilal says, Marius back is slow as shit compared to Fury. You could say Vlad has never fought someone on Tyson Fury's level. Remember, it's his brother who fought Lewis. Yes, I agree. Marius back is slow, but Marius back knocked out Christian Hammer. Remember that. Yes, Fury is unknown skill-wise. Fury has got to get Vlad early, rough him up, lose a point if he has to, make him scared, and then twat him on that China chin. Yeah, he's got to do that, but you're saying all these things. You forget Vladimir Klitschko's got an excellent jab, great right hand, and has got a legacy behind him of making successful title defenses. This is no easy job. You don't just go in and hit him on the chin and he falls over. And the winner people are going to understand that it's a little bit more than that. And I hope if Tyson does win the fight, he gets the credit he deserves. Because Tony Thompson couldn't do it. Kubrat Pulev couldn't do it. Brian Jennings couldn't do it, and a host of other people couldn't do it. Vlad has too much power for Fury to go looking for a scrap. This is my point. 40 Sports Media continues. Needs to use his jab and switch his stance throughout the fight to keep Vlad thinking the whole fight. Totally agree. It's got to mix it up, Fury. Fury has a better jab. Ruben, where is your basis to Fury having a better jab than Vladimir? Look at Vladimir's record and who Vladimir's fought in his career. Look at who Fury's put his jab on against, and then tell me, how can you say Fury's got a better jab than Vladimir when Fury hasn't fought anybody as remotely as good as Vladimir? I'm not suddenly switching up because it's Fury versus Vladimir. I'm just saying, don't look at this with a Fury fight mind. Look at this from a technical standpoint, and the facts are Fury's fought nobody as good as what Vladimir's fought in his career so far to date. Not saying he can't beat Vladimir. I'm just saying you can't say he's got a better jab because he hasn't fought anyone better to put that jab on. He's put his jab on Christian Hammer. He's put the jab on Derek Chisora, Kevin Johnson. Now Vladimir Klitschko's put the jab on Tony Thompson, Kubrat Pulev, Bryant Jennings. Let's continue. Who he's put the jab on? Okay, we know Klitschko jab works because he's fought against some of the best in the world. Then you've got to look at what Tyson Fury's put the jab on. I'm just saying, you can't say he's got a better jab. I'm going to read through all these statements because I can't talk and read through the statements. I'm going to read through all these statements and then we'll go through it. Good evening, Frags EU. David Price is tall, probably the best ever, right? Troll. I think David Price makes an excellent sparring partner for Tyson Fury and gives him an excellent chance against Vladimir Klitschko. Price is the first man I would get in. He's got long range. He hits hard with both hands. He stands up tall like Vlad and has got a chin similar to Vlad. That's what I would say there. When he's in shape, like against Kevin Johnson. Okay. Okay. Stuart Howe, has Tyson Fury mentally rehearsed every situation? I bet he hasn't. Most athletes don't. Mental side of game is 70% of sport and life to achieve. So why many people ignore this ignorance or uneducated? That's Stuart Howe. 40 Sports Media, both have a very good jab. The bigger than Lewis versus Holyfield. This is bigger than Lewis Holyfield. Could be. Michael Redman, it's all about Fury landing a shot. Vlad can KO anyone. Fury has to get him and land once he lands on Vlad. Vlad has a very weak chin. Fury hasn't great chin either, but Vlad's is poor. I'm offering my services now to Fury, tweeting now. Stuart Howe. I can't wait for this fight. Jamie White, get an interview with Fury about how he feels about the fight being officially announced. Don't really need to do that, Jamie. If you listen to the interview I did with Tyson Fury, he gives you all you need to know about how he'll feel about the fight being announced. He already said in my interview with him recently that he doesn't believe that the fight will go ahead even when it is announced, because he knows that Vladimir will pull out. He's also said what he would do if the fight was in Wembley, and he's also said what he would do if the fight's in Germany. So it's a pretty full-length interview. If you have any questions, go back and listen to that interview. Chris Golden says Tyson has a good jab, but he needs to be disciplined and stick to Peter's game plan. Well, Tyson's already said Peter's got a game plan, but Tyson says he's got his own game plan and he knows how to adapt because he's very adaptable. So take what you want from that. Team Fury should book several different hotel rooms, confuse them as to where Tyson's staying. No knocks on the door late at night. Agreed. Zeta Creations, you're talking a lot of sense. James Canal says, do you think the Golovkin fanboys are getting out of hand? Is the hype getting to their heads? I just have to say 2 words, William Monroe, and let's look at it from there. I talked to Abel Sanchez after that fight, and as far as he's concerned, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So think what you want of that. All I'm saying is Gennady needs to fight David Lemieux. That's what I'm saying. I saw a tweet that said TV-wise, it could be Sky, BT, or ITV. It would be amazing if it was put on free to air. It would be great to see that fight in free to air. I've got to say that. Chris Mason, good evening, says, neither fighters face a fighter anything like the other. I think it might be a closer fight than most think. Yeah, I could say that. Chris Golden, it would be great to have it on Channel 5, bringing boxing to the masses. No. No, no, no. Do not want the fight on Channel 5. I would love to see the fight on ITV. I would love to see the fight. I don't want to fight on Sky. I'd love to fight on ITV, but Sky would be great. But I'd love to fight on ITV. I would love ITV with Big Fight Live. I would love to have Jim Rosenthal as a presenter for the fight, and Ian Dark being the commentator for it. But I don't think it's going to happen. But I think I'd like it on ITV. I don't want it on Channel 5. The good thing about Channel 5, they've got Albert Bernstein, but I still think I'd love to see it better on ITV, Sky, ITV, Sky, and then Channel 5. Sorry. Stuart Howe says, Vlad has a superb jab. He's beatable, but have to move Fury, renowned for mentally switching off. That's a point. He does switch off in fights. He needs to be switched on all the fight. If he can stay switched on and get inside and could cause trouble for Vlad. Let's see. I'm excited. This is Stuart Howe again. I've heard it's going to be on Sky Sports. That's what Bonte has said, apparently. Well, yeah, if it's on Sky, then there's no surprise there. Now, is that a pay-per-view fight? Yeah, I'd say it's pay-per-view. I'd pay to see Fury Klitschko. I think that's pay-per-view. Fury has a very high work rate to win. Jerry Boy, 3699. This thing about work rate, I have a problem with this work rate thing. I'll explain why. The work rate thing sounds fantastic against lower level opposition. You saw work rate against Klitschko, against what's his name, Pacquiao versus Mayweather. When you move up in levels, if you've got a high work rate, you know, Joe Kawasaki had a great high work rate, but he was able to do it through the levels. Whether he fought domestically, European, or world, his work rate didn't slack off. Now you're fighting at world level, elite level, the highest of the high. Does Tyson Fury work rate operate at world level? That's my question. So his work rate has been very high at this point, but will it be the same at world level when he's been hit back by an excellent left jab or getting hit back by a great right hand? Or is his work rate just the same when he's got a referee constantly telling him to break or constantly getting in there or stopping him working? That's a question. When you've got a referee that's not on your side, that's a question. Will Tyson switch off? And think he can do that with his relaxed style, but his relaxed style against the lower level opposition, can he do it at the highest level and still be relaxed? That's the question. Okay, let's shift through this a bit more. Chris Mason. Fury doesn't have dodgy whiskers. He does have terrible feet when he trades. Interesting. I hear Eddie Hearn is putting a purse in for the fight. I don't want to hear anything about Eddie Hearn, to be honest. Moving on. Purse bids never happened. The fight was signed at the last minute. It was signed because of Peter Fury. If I'm right in saying Valley, Asif Valley, the part of the management team of Team Fury, said that it was Peter Fury that got the deal signed at the last moment. So Peter Fury has to be thanked. And he says there's going to be a big announcement as to who it is that helped Peter Fury. So that's my information on that point. Jamie White says, bring on the press conference. Shithouse getting shouted all over the place. Ha ha ha. LOL. Yes, well, as for that press conference, our friend, is it going to be in Germany or is it going to be in England or is it going to be in both places? Is it going to be a tour? Question. If it's in Britain, where's the press conference going to be held? That's key. B, the next question you can ask yourself is, our friends, the British Boxing Board of Control, are they going to allow Tyson Fury to conduct himself in a manner which is unsportsmanlike? I have to say this because remember, Tyson Fury, the last time he had his shithouse statements, if you don't like the channel, turn it over. And I was right at that press conference and sitting right next to the reporter who said to Tyson Fury about his behavior. Basically, Tyson said in an interview the day before he went to the press conference with his mouth tied up, I phoned him and he said to me, I'm fed up of putting myself in trouble and having to pay and be fined for, self-promoting. Now, what you have to take into consideration, will the British Boxing Board of Control dull a supposedly exciting press conference? Will they? That's the question. Do you see Vlad getting shaken by Fury's aggressiveness in press conference? I've heard people say Vlad could pull out. I expect Vladimir to pull out, and then I expect Vladimir to resign for the fight, having messed with Tyson Fury's mind the first time. Tyson said he's mentally strong. But the other question, ask yourself this as well, guys and girls. Tyson prepares for this fight in the back of his mind, believing that Vlad may or may not take the fight. How can you train with any conviction when you're expecting Vlad to pull out? So Vlad pulls out. Then he has the fight. Then he signs for the fight again. Remember, Vladimir pulled out twice against Derek Chisora. So there's no reason why Vladimir Klitschko can't pull out twice of a fight. So take all those things into consideration. Pull that twice against Chisora. Pull that against Pulev. So he can, and it's likely he will pull out. And all those people ready to book flights to go to Germany, you know, they must know something I don't know, or they must know something that Vlad don't know, because if Vlad decides to pull out and all these people are flying to Germany, you're going to have the same problem you have with David Haye as you got with Vladimir Klitschko. Just saying. The fact that you confirm a Fury was a factor in deciding tells me some form of lucrative home deal may be in effect. A UK fight. Okay. Debate in the cause. Thank you. Hope there's a Fury Klitschko face off on HBO. That would be great, Ryan. I think that's something that this fight needs. You're funny. I think Tyson might, with his title shot and career best purse, might turn it down a little. Tone it down a little. He might do, but then he might not. Justin Bilal says, Fury will train like a Trojan no matter what. Remember what he looked like pre-Haye. He did. Stuart Howe, Fury is saying Vlad will pull out to play mind games to make sure Vlad turns up, in my opinion. No, I think Vlad may well pull out. If you say he'll train like a Trojan, let's hope he does train like a Trojan. Let's hope he does train like a Trojan. So those are my thoughts on that and the Vladimir Klitschko. And I'm going to end with this by talking about something that happened today. And it's something I want to share with you. And I'm going to definitely be on camera saying it, because for me, when you, in my opinion, success is something that is great. And I want everybody to be successful at whatever they choose to do in life. But when you support someone, I'm not mentioning who it is, when you support someone through their career and they start to become a star, and then they decide to put you in the same category as other people who only jumped on the bandwagon when you were recognized as a star and didn't care about your career beforehand, for me, I have a problem with that. And at this moment in time, I'm a little disappointed in that individual They said to me, brother, I've got a lot of love for you, but it's protocol. So for me, I wouldn't do it. No matter how successful I become, I will always, and that's for the people who have supported my journey. If you can say support your journey in the hard times, in the tough times, but you know who they are. I would never turn around and say to somebody who's trying to call me, you're going to have to follow protocol from now on. No, I would talk to that person because they were there from the start and they deserve to see you. When you were at your bad times, they were there talking to you. When you were at your best times, they're there with you. So for me, I have a problem with that. And there's a lot more things I'm seeing in boxing today that I'm glad that I'm a part-timer in this sport and not a full-timer. Because if I was a full-timer, God blimey, I don't know if I could cope. I really don't. Tyson lost 2 stone already, according to Peter. That was last week. I think Peter knew it would be a Russian billionaire there. As Vlad is from Ukraine, it could have been hostile in Russia due to politics. Vlad to retire before fight, another option. Nah, that won't happen. Vlad would not retire to Fury. Don't see it happening. I bet Fury got a decent purse. He did. Well, that's it, guys. I haven't got much more to say on the matter. Fury. Yeah, Tyson can't bite his lip for too long. He's not wired that way, says Michael Redmond. Name and shame. No, Chris, I won't do that. I can't do that because I still have mad respect for that individual. But I think I'm not going to tell you who that individual is. Anybody who watches my channel may get an inkling sooner rather than later when they don't see me doing any more interviews with them. Because out of principle, I don't care how big you are. I don't care what sportsman you are. I don't care what. I don't care. At the end of the day, it's character. And the whole Bayloric brand has always been about champion among champions and being a champion despite your rise to fame. It doesn't matter. It really, it doesn't matter, you know. And I'm sorry. That's why I don't ride people. I don't ride people's. I'm not like that. I'm principled. I wouldn't do that, and I wouldn't do it, and I can't do it. So if I wouldn't do it myself, how can I support somebody who would do that? Can't do it. Sorry. So like I said, no hard feelings. Disappointed, but I don't own anybody. But if that's the way they operate, good luck to them. I wish them all the best in their career. And if they feel that I now have to go and see a publicist, I now have to call a publicist and step in line with all the other fanboys. I now have to step, you know, I have to now go and ring the publicist to book an appointment to interview you. Nah, sorry, that can't fly, bro. That can't, not with me. That ain't flying, bro. That ain't business. I don't care. I will say it to your face. And when I get the opportunity, I will say it to your face. But you know, I've said it over the phone to you, so that's it. No can do. So that's it. So thank you guys for your support. Appreciate it. And yeah, don't forget to check out the interview I've done with Abel Sanchez. Check out interviews with Stuart Howe, interviews with Paul C Sports Media. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, leave your comments. And don't forget to check out the radio show that I am on now called More Love. www.waymorelove.com. Repeat, www.waymorelove.com. Relationships, love, and all the rest of it. I tried to ring Tyson earlier as soon as it was announced, but I guess he had his phone off, so that's understandable. You have no idea who it is now. Thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoyed the show. All I ask for you guys is to like the show, Share it on your Facebook pages, share it on your Facebook walls, your social media. Tell people about it. No, it's not him. It's not him. Hi, handsome. Yes, Abel Sanchez calls me handsome. Great. Right, I've got to go. I'm about to go on to do the radio show, which is based in Atlanta. So thank you. Love you all. Take care. Adios, amigos.